Alright, welcome to another pro game recap. This is the 77th Honinbo final, game 4 between Iyama Yuta and Ichiriki Rio. Ichiriki is black, and this game started fairly normal. And when white cut here, this sets off an chain reaction where there's no way but to play this game but to fight it out. So this became an extremely fighty game. So black protects his shape, white extends, and Ichiriki makes a really interesting move, and this is also the move recommended by AI. I guess the idea behind this move is that this black thinks that this extension is Sente, so black can play this anytime. So black doesn't have to play it now. Black can just play this jump first. And I just recall Iyama Yuta thinking for quite some time. I guess the obvious thing is, can white Atari out like this? And basically Iyama's conclusion was that yes, he can. So that's exactly what he did. So black cuts, and look at the moves here. Oh wow, this just becomes so fighty. So when black Hanes, white comes down, this is good. And I think this is a mistake by Ichiriki. Now, the idea is that if you look at this black group here, this black group actually is surprisingly weak. And we'll see what happened to this black group later on. So the way the AI recommends to play is to play under and just jump out. Just make this black group strong. Now this white group is getting weaker and weaker as long as the surrounding black groups are strong. And at this point, white doesn't really want the Atari because black really wants to play this move by himself anyway. So white, don't play a move to help black. So AI recommends that black play here and just jump out. So what will happen is that now black is stronger here, and black has this white group to attack. So that's a very even game for both sides. So, but Ichiriki decided to play here, which made white Hane. And you see that even though Ichiriki wants to play the role of the attacker, his groups are always never really that strong. So this black group is not that strong. This black group is not that strong. And when black Hane is here, white cannot play here because obviously there's this cut. So that will be too good for black. So white can only protect. So now black finally gets the cut that he wants. But the sad thing is, even after cutting, this white can still run and kind of make use of the fact that black is not that strong, not that thick everywhere. So plays here. So runs. And why even have time to cut this and push and then capturing this stone? So at this point, black decides to make a wedge, creating 2 cutting points and cut. And this is probably the right sequence. And remember what we said, that this black group is not that strong. So this is where white gets to exploit it. Now, this is at the end of the first day, and the sealed move was this move. So AI says extension is also good, but Iyama played this Hane here. So black has to connect. Now notice that black is not alive at this point. At this point, black still is not alive. Black either has to connect under or play it here to stay alive. And I think Iyama just had some incredible reading in this area. So he extended. So, black has no choice but to try and make something of it. So he Atari's out, making use of this cutting stone. Otherwise, this cutting stone is completely wasted. Because, for example, just Atari. This will be painful enough for black already, and there probably are better ways to play. So black makes And you see this is a really remarkable move. This is what I call a probe that isn't really a probe, because obviously at this point, well, black isn't alive, so theoretically black could just run out, jump out, and just let white take. So blacks has a choice here, but really that would just be too painful a choice for black. So really the only choice is for black to take. So you may be wondering why does white play here right now? Isn't this just losing a little bit of a code thread? Well, I think this is because when white played this extension here at P10, he's already read this out. This is just incredible reading. So let's see what white's plan is. Cuts. And after white play this move, black is totally not alive. So black can have to really connect under now, otherwise it doesn't work. So let's see jumping, see if jumping works. So this one. Right, after making this exchange, white can extend. You may be thinking, well, why doesn't black just take here? Well, that's exactly what white wants. Come on. Oh. So black is dead, just pure dead. So black cannot jump out like this. So this is black's only way to connect. Destroys Hane, cuts, extends. Now at this point, maybe you're thinking, maybe could this work, or this also doesn't actually work. Yeah, so it's too bad. Right, so this also doesn't work. So really the only way for black to play is really just to cut here, extends, Tari. It's a beautiful sequence. See, now notice how black is entirely now. So that's the black's only move. And so this time, this whole black group is now have to rely on this two-step code to stay alive. So for example, black has to find a code thread and take it back. So it's not that easy for black. So what AI suggests now is that just leave this code here, because for white to take, white needs to spend 2 moves anyway. So black should play the biggest points elsewhere, and this will actually be back to even. So, but the fact that Iyama read out all of this sequence and figure out that it can make a code here to capture black, that's incredible in itself. So Ichiriki played okay, and just take. And this move is important because say for example, if black played elsewhere, white can Atari and just create a solid eye in the middle for white, so that will make white easier to stay alive. But of course AI also recommends playing here first to just make this group stronger and also putting pressure on the corner. So took, and when white cut, Ichiriki decides to start the code by taking here and using this Atari as a code thread. And after Iyama took and Ichiriki took, this is already in a game losing position for Ichiriki. And I think the reason why is because if you recall, AI actually recommended playing here anyway. So really what's really happened is that white took, and then black took, and white took, right, and then black plays somewhere else, and then somehow play somewhere else, for example here, and then white just gave black a free move basically. But this move isn't that valuable if you have protected this in the first place. So overall, after this it's really hard for Ichiriki to come back, but at this point it still might be very playable. So what actually AI recommends it to do at this point is that because Iyama still needs 2 moves to capture black anyway, so black should just play the biggest point on the board and see how that develops and see if he can somehow in the future create enough co-threats to win this go. So apparently this is the biggest point, or somewhere around this area. The idea, of course, is that it puts pressure on the corner group, but also puts a lot more pressure on this group. So but of course white would get this, and and basically AI just recommends giving up on this group temporarily. And I guess this is very hard for human to do, because Ichiriki might be thinking, oh, this group is lost and now this group is in trouble, so how can I play like this? But I guess, yeah, that's why maybe it's a gameplay between 2 opponents, 2 humans, and it's not robots playing, so this may be really hard to make this kind of decision. But let's keep looking at the game. So white decides to make this group safe. So now this group is almost safe. It's all connected back. So black decides to attack the corner. Notice now at this point white has 2 choices. One is coming out in here. One is trying to save this corner somehow. So white comes out. This makes it really difficult, because if black saves the bottom stone, then this area might just get damaged. So that's going to be really difficult. So Ichiriki decides to try and attack the corner first. So Iyama makes another move, and then plays a probe here. And overall, this is getting really difficult for Ichiriki, especially if white can come in. And notice that white at any point can play this. So this so much archie down here. But somehow Ichiriki managed to make a ko in the corner here. But this ko is just really difficult for black to fight. And I remember looking at this and thinking this is a very strange move, because is black trying to use this as a ko threat? So when white Atari, black cannot actually connect. It's because the middle group might just make use of a lot of black's weakness in the shape to try and live in the middle. So it's so Ichiriki didn't end up connecting, but just played here. And yeah, really ultimately it just became a very difficult game for Ichiriki. Yeah, after this move, Ichiriki resigned. So it's a bit of a surprise that Honinbo final, which is the best of 7 series, stopped that 4-0 score, especially considering Ichiriki actually took the Kisei title from Yuta with a 4-3 score recently. So I definitely wasn't expecting a complete total annihilation of Ichiriki at 4-0, but congratulations to Yuta. He's won 11 Honinbo straight, which is a new record. He beat Chochikun's 10 consecutive Honinbo record, and really, that's quite an achievement. So, again, congrats to Iyama, and let's see if Ichiriki can challenge in the Meijin, and hopefully we'll get to see a 7-game series in that one. Have a good one. Bye.